We are.
All right. How y'all doing? How y'all doing, world? It's Friday evening. We're back in the building. Word on the Ave. The usual crew's here. We got a guest with us today. Sean, you know what I'm saying? Randy, Lauren, you all in the building. I want to say anything.
Every breath that I've been taking since you left feels like a
What's
waste
going on?
on me.
We got some theme music. Okay.
I've been holding on to hope that you'll come back when you can find some peace.
I don't know what that is. Well, yeah, we got. Wait, that'll be the
Every
thing.
word
There you
that
go.
I think LJ listening to that.
Yeah, that you, Lauren.
Man, shit, I can't call it. Can you hear it now?
Yeah, you got two screens up.
Yeah. You
Sound
gotta,
good.
you gotta.
Yeah, I want to introduce yourselves, man. You got to introduce yourselves before we get this party on the road.
All right. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Randy Anderson, aka the ignorant, eclectic, mad genius, man. Back in the building.
You ain't got no other names. Ain't got nothing you want to add to that, man.
You
Other
say
name you want to
what?
add to that?
Nah, I ain't got no other names right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm just the ignorant, eclectic, mad genius. That's it. That's all it is.
All right.
Playing from Randy's iPhone.
Ignore it, Alexa.
I'll run in there.
Go ahead.
I'm Sean McCall. Hey, I'm new to this scene, but hey, I'm happy you guys invited me. I just want to see what we can do here, and see what I can add and see what I can take away from it.
All right.
Chopping it up.
Nice to have you, man. Yeah, appreciate you being here, man.
We appreciate you.
What about you, Lauren? I don't know, Lauren over
Lauren
there
listening. Lauren over here trying to.
Lauren over there listening to the boys, the men, and shit, man.
Hey man, don't be hating on my classes, man. Shoot, man. Shoot, man. Yeah, you already know who it is, man. You ask your auntie about me, baby.
Right up.
Right up. Ask about me.
Shit, I'm Corey. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, let's get into it, man.
Yeah,
So yeah. Last night, man, that was a very informative show. Hope y'all, anybody seeing that, man, y'all take heed to that type of word. And like I said, game plan. Nothing to go back to normal. You gotta come together, just brainstorm. But still dealing with the whole coronavirus. I guess can't say that. The Roni situation. We call it the Roni, man. Dealing with that situation, and we talked about it last night, and it's about the stimulus package. So of course, like I said, 2.5 trillion dollars sent out to the American people's stimulus to help, you know what I'm saying, with the small businesses, the millions of people put out of work. We're at a record, I think last time I saw 6.6 million filing for unemployment right now. But a conversation that's being had, and we've talked about this a lot. We talked about the reparation conversation. This has been going on for years upon years. It's been ignored, basically, you know what I'm saying, in Congress or whatever. The media, basically, they may talk about it for a second and then they'll throw it away, just to try to have the conversation to alleviate. You got many groups that's come back up, you know what I'm saying, with the election coming around, the conversations come back up. One of the leads of this conversation has been Yvette Carnell and Antonio Moore of the ADOS movement. But they had a hearing for it, but it was basically just for an HR bill, and to pass an HR bill so they could have a conversation and a study on reparations, which I don't know what's the study, because all the information and all the everything that's needed to be known is basically there. We're at the hey, it's business time now. But it's come up again. The conversation's come up again. I saw on Willie D Live. I don't know if y'all familiar with Willie D from the legendary group, the Ghetto Boys, with Scarface, Bushwick Bill. Willie D, man, he's got his show, man. He's I love what he's doing over there, man. He's news, man. That alternative news, man. Basically the real news, stuff that's not gonna get watered down, edited out, anything like that. He gonna give it to you real, just like how we do. But the conversation he brought up last week, and I saw this actually also being brought up on social media and everything is, does this stimulus check prove that Black people could have got reparations? Look like Sean might have dropped off connections. Y'all there?
Yeah, I'm here. I think Sean did pop. Sean fell off.
Come off again. Okay, it's all good. Yeah, does this prove that Black people will get reparations? All this money, man. I mean, millions of people. If you look at this, I did the math. If you do off of 2 trillion, and you divide this, I know half of the country is not working because it's probably most are children or whatnot. So let's just say there's 130 million in the country. So let's just say about 160 million, you know what I'm saying? And it's passing out to that. And there's actually 160 million people all working. Even with, the unemployment rate, I think, Lauren, you said last night it's up to 10%, right? Those are actually, that's the numbers that are put on the books, because when they actually do more numbers, when they do more number crunching, they say the rate is actually much even higher than that just on a normal day. But they got to make the numbers look good. You know what I'm saying? They got to make the numbers look good for their election and for their terms. So yeah, when you divide what 2.2 trillion dollars, man, by 160 million, that comes out to about I got about 12,000 per person. 12,000 per person. So that's something somebody could do something with. I mean, shit, you give me 12,000 right now, man, I'll be able to make something happen. And a lot of people will. You're gonna have the stragglers. You're gonna have the stragglers that go out and spend it on booty or
free will
games or whatnot. They're gonna throw it away. But nevertheless, it's not a handout. It's still owed. It's not a handout. It's what's owed. It's a payback, man. So does this stimulus check, man, prove that? And that was what I was referring to, was basically stimulus, the package, that the 2 trillion that was packaged in the stimulus. So I'm saying if they were to just give that money straight up to each American, to 160 Americans, it would be 12,000. So, you can go, whoever want to go weigh in on this, man. Let's know what's up, man.
Go
ahead.
I'll say, and this is the reason that I want you to listen.
Yeah.
So these factors.
Hey, I can barely hear you. I can barely hear you. Lauren, I can barely hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you better now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. So the way the stimulus package is being given out to people right now is a stimulus package that is going to be taken back later. Mm-hmm. I think that's the real key to understand, is you basically are borrowing against your taxes in a future year, essentially. Whereas the reparations conversation is more about what they would have to pay out that they would never get back. Like, that's money that they just forking out. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the difference between the two. Now we ask the question, can they? Absolutely, they can do anything. You know what I'm saying? If they had to pay reparations and they had to go borrow it, whoever, you know what I'm saying? Absolutely. You know, they could absolutely pay reparations on a monthly, annual, however, and take your money. If you want to play the lottery and take a lump sum, go for it. You know what I'm saying? So I guess if you ask the question, well, there's a will, there's a way. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, they figured out a way to create this stimulus package so that you know, people can still do, so they can give you a little something to help you survive. That's what this is. This is to help you survive. It's not saying you can't, that uh you shouldn't go out and still try to make money. This is just saying, hey, we're going to give you a little bit of money to help you survive. You know what I'm saying? To make sure maybe your lights don't get cut off or whatever the case may be. Make sure your families can still eat on a daily basis. Because I mean, personally, if you said this is all that I was going to get and I was unemployed, I couldn't make it on that. I mean, I could, but it'd be pretty hard. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't make it on this current stimulus package just based off of the size of my family and things to that degree. Uh, so. But as far as can they make it happen, absolutely. I guess the question would be again, how would you if if they pay us reparations and they ain't getting that money back. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't taking it out of my taxes at that point. You know what I'm saying? It's just money that you have to pay me. Then, you
Yeah.
know, who do they have to pay back as a result of paying me? And what does that cost me? Is it going to cost me something to take the reparation? You know, in order for me to get what's due, because I think that's the bottom line to the whole thing is that if they came tomorrow and was like, yeah, we got a cool little reparations package for everybody, they're going to make it impossible to get. They're going to make it impossible to get because, I mean, let's think about it. How many of us can truly prove our genealogy and where it came from? Who can prove it? And that's going to be the tricky part. And not only that, but if they really wanted to get dirty, you know what I'm saying? They could be like, well, we didn't take all the slaves. We didn't take all the black people from Africa. We only took a select few.
Yeah.
So they could twist and turn that in all kind of ways. And so for me, while I do believe that reparations are due to, a certain group of people, I think at the end of the day, for me, I know based off of the America that I live in, that it's probably not going to be worth it for me to take it, or they're going to make it so hard that I would never get it. So I need to go get mine for myself and my family, and not depend. Because again, you're gonna depend on the government to cut you a check again. You know what I'm saying? It's not quote unquote a total dependency. You know what I'm saying? But you still waiting on the government to cut you a check. So what's the difference between that check and a stimulus check? You know what I'm saying? So for me, I support it, but I think in the America that we live in today, we won't see it.
Yeah.
Sorry to be a Debbie Downer, people.
Sean.
Yeah.
Go
I'm
ahead.
back, fellas.
Hey, this real shit, man. Hey, man, what Dave Chappelle, man, said. What he say? He said, I'm gonna go invest. He said, psych. He said, psych, nigga. Hey, Sean, Randy, whichever one.
Go ahead, Sean.
You want to go first? I want to hear what you got, Sean, man. What you got, man?
Okay. So I kind of came in on the back end of that, and I heard a part that I do, and I really do agree with. We will not see that reparation what's happening right now, and it sounds like you guys talked about it last night.
Mhm.
This stimulus check was the money to be paid, or that should have been paid, or could have been paid to the people, or the 40 million people,
Mhm.
uh, in reparations, the 2.5 trillion or the 2 trillion that they keep spewing all across the news. That money could have paid for that easily. Now, if you can control a small population very easily with no problem. Now, if they don't send these stimulus checks out, then you have a bigger problem on your hands, because you got a lot more American people out of work. And it's not just black people, it's black people, white people, Mexican people. Basically, a lot of this population is out of work right now.
Mhm.
So, which one would you rather not have to control? The 40 million or the 300 plus million?
Right.
They're surrounded. They know it. It's just up to people to see it. Now, as far as that money goes, I think we need to look at group economics, and that group economics being a group as a whole, a group as poor people. You know, if you look at what MLK was doing in his final years, it was the poor people's campaign. He went away from saying, hey, just this one group of people to this group of people, because that had more an effect to me than anything, thinking about, okay, well, if you can bring other people together with your group for a core cause, you have more backing and you can get more done, and you can bring a lot of people out of the pits. Now, he wasn't the only person thinking like that. You had Fred Hampton also. But we all know what happens when we actually get a leader that's not going to take that pay under the table. We know what happens. They're the examples of what actually happens when our leaders actually step up and say, hey, we're going to do something for our people. You know, and they didn't fear what was coming. They knew what was coming. They figured out that system, and that's what we got to do. We've had a lot of people to lay down the blueprints for us. We had, you know, not only one Black Wall Street. We had one in Durham. We had one in Tulsa. But what about the untold Black Wall Streets that we had? You know, we can go back to the Underground Railroad. All of those things were only, if we really look at them, they were blueprints. They were blueprints of how we need to handle business and how we need to lay it down. But, you know, what keeps us back, I think, you know, I was thinking about this earlier day, you know, before I got on this chat here, you know, this podcast. It's like we can get on our radio stations and we can hear people like us say, and I heard it today, stop the violence, to stop the shooting, to stop killing each other. But in the next moment, they're promoting the music that says, go out here and bust his head open, go out here and kill him, go out here and pimp some hoes, or whatever it may be. They are promoting the same thing that they're saying you're not to do, right? So we're getting mixed messages. We got these young cats out here that don't have any leeway. It used to be the old school cats come up and say, hey, this ain't the way it's rolling, you know, and you respected that. Now there's no respect because we've lost respect. We've lost respect because we've allowed that. And once you figure and realize where you are and realize where we need to go, we can do a better job at getting there. But it's going to take allies. It's going to take allies. We can't do it by ourselves because the system's corrupt. The whole damn system is crooked. Yeah. And when people start to really realize that the system is crooked, that you have 13% of the population making up the majority of the prison system in this country, that's probably a problem. I mean, it ain't probably a problem. It is a damn problem. They know it. We know it. And I mean, we can continue to make excuses for what's really happening, or we can start to do things like this and say, hey, how do we make a change? And we can go back and say, let's actually look at our blueprints and see how the people before us did it. That's how it actually works. How did they do it before us? I mean, they're gonna keep telling us and showing us slave movies. I don't want to see another damn slave movie. I ain't even watch Harriet. Throw that shit out the window. I'm not even watching that, because what you're telling me from a psychological point of view is you're a slave. That's what you're telling me. And you're trying to commit that to my mind. And I'm not willing to allow you to commit that to my mind. I'm not willing for you to allow me to try to commit that to my children's mind that, hey, this is what we were.
Yeah.
That breaks them down. I think mentally it breaks our children down. And if you can take over the next generation, then you already won. So the fight is always going to be for, and that's what they're going to continue to do. They're going to continue to do it in movies. Hey, that's why we need to have our own movies. That's why we need to have control of our own media. That's why we need to have control of our own banks. That's why we need to have control of a lot of our own things. Because if somebody else tries to give you your history, then they give you the history of you that they want you to see, not the history of you that you need to know and that you need to see, so that you can educate yourself and elevate yourself, and then possibly elevate your people. See, and I think, what you say?
Let me ask you this. So where does it start? Do you think it's possible? Because you have many like you have many like the Byron Allen case, that which he just lost with Comcast or whatnot. But you got many black men who are able to acquire this money, and they're buying these different channels and stations. They're buying these stations for the television, for the tube, with these few what do you say, companies, Comcast, Charter, what's some of the other ones? I don't know, Comcast, Charter, all the other, the few that have a monopoly basically on the whole television business. So are you, because one thing I'm looking at, what I'm saying, with not to get off track, but with this, even with this whole COVID situation or whatnot, is we're forced to, we're at the mercy of the information of the so-called experts and the scientists or whatnot. So are we going to be able to make this happen, posting it on, I'm pointing at the television, posting it on this television screen or whatnot, or do we have to build something from scratch? We need somebody who will be able to go in there, a television. What I was saying with the COVID was basically having breeding a scientist. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we can have a set of, kids who are scientists, and I'm not just talking about black or whatnot. Like, it's for the people. You know what I'm saying? That
Mm-hmm.
not get, at least have a high, a big amount of them, because a lot of them are going to sell out. Of course, there's always going to be somebody that's going to sell out when they offer that cash back. But you know what I'm saying, the breeder culture of, people who are scientists and just straight up inventors. You know what I'm saying? Is it possible? Because the media is the main thing that's got control of the mind. Like you said, with Black Wall Street was around even years, even after the bombings or whatnot. But it went away once inclusion, integration came into play. It came into their grips. And now we're being fed what's the big stuff, the media, what's top notch. Just like you see everybody, they rocking designer or whatnot. Bill Cosby, I talked about it all the time. He got caught up because he wanted to play their game. Everybody talked about, that's what everybody was doing that right back then. But he decided to play that game, and they held that on him. And nigga, you gonna deal with that consequence. You know what I'm saying? So are we able to do this? Basically, are we able to do this on the platforms that we have, like this platform here, the television? Because they're not, what they're pushing on YouTube and whatnot, they're pushing, they want you to see Fox News. They're blocking us out. They want Fox News. They want you to see a prank or whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we have to do is when the conditions change, then the conditions have to change. And I don't want that to sound a roundabout way, but when the conditions change, the conditions have to change. Yeah. And I mean, we have to go in there and change how we react to what's going on around us. We can't sit back and know that, hey, they're doing business this way. It's just like with redlining, right? Okay, they figured out, okay, well, they're doing this, they're running these highways through here, and they're not giving us these particular loans. When you know that's the case, then you have to stop spending your money with these places. You have to put your money where it matters most, and you have to put your time where it matters most. And your time and your effort in your community, in that community that's broken, is gonna be more valuable than you getting a lump sum any day of the week.
Yeah.
Than me getting, I mean, I get it. There are gonna be people that's gonna just sell out for that buck. And I'm like, oh, I got 100,000, which that money is garbage. That money, that $1,200, man, this national debt is at 23. Looking at it right now, $23 trillion, and then they're talking about adding another two on top of that. Yep. So I mean, if you look at that and you look at what every taxpaying citizen owes, it'll never be paid back. So what do you talk about? You talk about inflation, but that's to me, that's their debt. I didn't sign up for that, but you know what? We're gonna be dragged along with it.
Right.
So you have to have some sort of contingency plan in place, even during it, because basically everybody's getting drugged along for the ride on this one. Yeah. And I mean, if we think, I think, to go back to hit on the point of reparations, if we think that we're going to be getting some reparations in this lifetime, but the next, it's not happening. Right. It's not happening. So we have to change, because the conditions have changed. The conditions have changed to put us all in a position where it says, okay, you're not going to get this. That talk needs to stop. And I think we need to come up with a different strategy and say, okay, well, since we can't get this, then this is how we're going to deal with it in this circle. And that means, it's going to be people like us, people that look like us. It's going to be people that don't look like us that are going to help us with that are going to be in the same conditions and be in the same situations, and that are going to be able to actually help us. It's not going to be the politicians that, had $1 million homes. It's not going to be those guys. They're there to be a career politician. That's why they're there. They're there to keep control. That's, to me, why they're there. They're not there to see the people through and have the people have a comfortable life. Yeah. I don't believe that.
Right. Randy, what you think, man? What you got, man? You over there brewing, man. Before you go, I just want to say, hey, and for people that watch it, because I know a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, I don't know, but I know if media-wise and for what they show, a lot of people subscribe to they love these heroes, the Democratic Party or whatnot. I don't get into the whole politic thing, you know what I'm saying, but they like those Democrats. And what's the name? AOC is looked at as a hero, but you hear her talking about illegals. Illegals should be getting illegals should be getting some of this money too. So I just want the people to know this, you know what I'm saying? Because these are your politicians. These are your politicians, the people who are represented as leaders in your country. The illegals can get some, but they're trying to keep fathers who owe, you know what I'm saying, child support and stuff like that. I mean, how are you supposed to make money? Nobody's even working. You know what I mean? So they denying them to get the money. But I just want to put that out there. But Randy, yeah, what you think, man? Does this stimulus check, man, does this prove that black people, or American descendants of slaves, like the ADOS movement, is reparations possible?
That was fucked up, messed up. I laugh like that. I know. I mean, it is possible. Don't get me wrong. It definitely is possible, but it's not gonna happen. Never in a million years. Never. Yeah. We literally we have to work for ours. You know what I'm saying? We got to build from the ground up, and nothing. They're not gonna give us anything. They're gonna want a part of everything, because literally we are culture. Our culture, us as a group, we are culture. You know what I'm saying? The media wouldn't have nothing without us. If I'm being honest with you. You know what I'm saying? So whatever we make, they'll buy it from us and then push it. So it's all on us. It's always been on us. And we just some of us are just now seeing it. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's it won't never happen. Never happen. Short, sweet, to the point.
Think about that. I mean, just like I mean, look at sports. You look at sports. Uh, in the NBA football. You know what I'm saying? Like black folks, they're running that whole organization.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They're running. They're the stars, not running, but they make the money. They bring in the money or whatnot.
They
The
bring in the
fans want to
fans.
see the
Yep.
talent. Uh, and if all you need is a court and a ball, and come together. You know what I'm saying? Everybody come together. You know what I'm saying? Put something in the pot. Do it how those owners do it, because they all working together. You know what I'm saying? The owners, those 32 or 32 in the NFL, 30 in the NBA, those 30 owners, they're the ones, they're over the commissioners. You know what I'm saying? So they're all in cahoots while we're up there, Celtics versus Lakers or Chiefs Raiders or whatnot. They, the owners in the skybox, you know what I'm saying? They talking to each other on the phone, figuring out the next move, and you know what I'm saying? They're giving us the bread and circus. So we can have that for ourselves. But like I said, it comes down to sacrifice. We want, we want the bigger money. You know what I'm saying? It's like Antonio Brown said, when they asked him, will you play for the XFL? He's like, oh, I'm too swaggy. I'm too swaggy for the XFL. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like that, man. And he's got the right to feel that way. It's all in the same business. But like I said, man, you want to break free, man, and do your own thing. Like I said, you gotta be able to come together. One way, you know what I'm saying? If only way reparations would be paid is if, who white folks, if they caught some guilt or they had, family who was slave owners, whatnot, and they sat there and said, "Hey, I'm a start giving somebody whatever, directing it to somebody black or whoever was a descendant of a slave, went through slaves and Jim Crow, because it's not just slavery, you know what I'm saying? Not just slavery, but you're talking about Jim Crow, the black codes, and everything after that. So I'm gonna take my personal money and have a percentage wired to this person out of every paycheck or payment. That would be the only way that it's possible. You know what I'm saying? Without dumping trillions more dollars into the economy and causing inflation. You know what I'm saying? Which, like you said, inflation is robbery without a gun. It's secret robbery. The robbery nobody sees. And that'd be the only way it happened. But like you said, you heard Max Kellerman on First Take. What he say? Everybody was inviting them to the barbecue because they ain't like what Stephen A. Smith. They're like, we like what Max Kellerman say was with the Kaepernick situation. We like Max Kellerman. He's invited to the barbecue or whatnot. But you heard what Max Kellerman said. I've said this a billion times. He said, but hey, I'm not giving up. He said, I'm not giving up not a dollar nor this position. You know what I'm saying? For whatever cause. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the truth. You can't blame him. You know what I'm saying? He trying to eat like the next man. So I definitely agree. It's possible. You see all the money that's funneled toward, other, just spent on stupid shit, tax, that's, comes out of our taxes. Oh man, just ridiculous stuff. And it's in the Constitution. They added that to the Constitution when they put the Federal Reserve in place, that they can tax, the founding fathers, so-called, even though they were criminals, did they damn selves, they understood, what it took to have a free country. And that was one of the main things that they fought against was, taxation without representation. When the Federal Reserve came into play, 1913, really started 1907 and came into play 1913, they put that on the books to where they could just take things. So anything, we feel like we need to look into how paint dries on the damn wall. So we're gonna introduce. So we got a $8.7 billion bill. You know what I mean? It's all type of just nefarious ways that they do this. So yeah, man, it's funneling money. They send money to Israel every year. They send money over there. for their Zionist agenda. Let me
Allegedly.
stop talking before
Allegedly.
they
But think
cut
of
me.
right.
But
Think about two things right quick.
yeah,
Uh, education and opportunity, right?
yeah,
So you know me, I'm a firm believer in education. I'm not talking about book smart stuff. I'm
yeah,
not talking about that. That's a part of it, but that's not all of it. That's
right,
just a
right.
portion of it. And so, when you think about if you go to if you go talk to 10, 10 black dudes right now and ask them to start just mentioning random things about the conversation,
Hmm.
you may get two of them that can really start digging into stuff, and the other eight gonna be like, yeah, man, we got a right to bear arms and freedom of speech. That's it.
Yeah,
We're not educated about economics. You know what I'm saying? We're not educated enough to get ourselves in some real trouble. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Uh, about opportunity. You know, think about the generations upon generations of black people. And the mentality of survival. You know, and it's more about survival than it is stepping out there and taking risks. Or not even stepping out and taking risks, but the opportunity to step out and take risks. You know, and I personally have to say, it's a challenge for me at times because of the way I was brought up. You focus on what's in front of you and not think about what would happen if you planted a seed and what it would be like 2-3 years later. You're focused on right now. And so a lot of our children, we didn't have the opportunity, and it takes a special individual to get outside of certain things that he was brought up in to create something that's different, a different train of thought. So I think about myself, and I'm like, you know, I'm kind of already too old in some ways, to really go out there, what I'm saying, and sell the seven seas, if you want to use that terminology. But what can I provide to give my children the opportunity to do the things that, really need to be done to affect change, teaching them about a real economic system, saying, hey, son, here's $5,000. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I want you to go try that to see if it works, and if it don't work, that's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want that 5,000 back. Bring back what you learned from that. So if I give you another 5,000, you won't lose that 5,000. You know what I'm saying? You'll double, triple, quadruple that. So we don't have a lot of those. We have to create those opportunities.
Hey,
We have to
not to
create
cut,
those
not
opportunities.
not to cut you off, but you notice that's one of the main things that happens in hip hop with rappers and their crews. What you just said right there, and then what do
Yep.
you see? What do you always see when they come back? They come back blasting the rapper or whatnot, talking about, oh, he ain't, you know what I'm saying? I'm down here broke, man. I owe taxes and this and that. It's like, I done broke you off, you know what I'm saying? I gave you a job. A lot of,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I gave
Yeah.
you a job. I gave you, man, I done invested millions of dollars in you, but you doing your own thing. But they looking at the rapper because the rapper's doing it. They're like, oh, I'm going to do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Then the money's gone. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
My mama needs this. My mama needs medication or
Like,
whatnot. It's like, I can put you in you got to do something for yourself. But too many people want to be fed. You know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like I tell my
Yep.
young,
And leadership is another big thing.
mm-hmm. Oh, I was just gonna say, like,
Go ahead.
I was pretty much to your point. I was just gonna say, like I tell my brothers, like, literally, you can't save everybody. The people who listen and who see the vision, those people will follow you. Everybody's not gonna follow you, and once you see those people fall off, don't go back for them. Just let them. I know that sounds messed up, but let them die. But I mean, that's what I've learned over my 29 years.
No, it doesn't. It does
It do sound messed up in a certain type of
not to
way,
me.
but it's the absolute truth. You know what I'm saying? Going back to what Sean in reference to, about this is not a black thing, it's not a white thing, it's not a Hispanic thing, it's not an Asian thing. This is about people in general. You know what I'm saying? And that sometimes, that's the biggest issue that I take with things like buy black. And I'm like, I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? I would certainly love to do it in almost every instance. But if you cutting corners and your product that you selling ain't quality, then I'm sorry, I'm not going to buy black. You know what I'm saying? If Jose got it down the street and his stuff is quality and it's cheaper, I, I can't buy from you. You know what I'm saying? You know, and so we have a and again, it goes back to the misconception about how economics work. You know what I'm saying? It's not about, just supporting your own, because who is really your own? You know, black people turn their back on you in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. You
You
know what I'm
do
saying?
have to. You do have to. I do believe you should begin with, and it's that doesn't. This doesn't limit toward. This doesn't limit toward just color or race or whatnot. But you do have to. Should begin with the people who are your neighbors, so to say. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Your neighbors, your community. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now, like I said, the only reason to say is it should be a emphasis on black. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't save everybody. You can't save everybody. Like, and we're all in this together. Like I've always said, people talk about white supremacy and white privilege. When you talking about, you get mad and say all white people are the devil or whatnot, and you talking about the white privilege. Keep in mind what you just said there. Is you said white privilege, meaning a privilege can always be taken away. So in that sense, they're in the same boat. They may be held to a higher standard or whatever it may be, but they're still in the same boat with you. But I do believe, you know what I'm saying, because of just I mean, you talking about just years of beat down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of nepotism that goes on in the job market. I mean, try to go to Chinatown and get you a job. Try to go to you try to go to El Rancho or somewhere, something like that, and get you a job. It's not. A lot of people say, "Oh, that's racist or whatnot." No, it's not racist. It's nepotism. But nepotism can cover all type of different grounds. From the way you look to your family, to like-minded people. You know what I'm saying? So there does have to be a level of nepotism when operating. You know what I'm saying? When operating like this, because somebody could come in and cut what you're personally trying to get accomplished. They cut that down. You know what I mean? Do you agree with that?
I think another thing it amounts to. I used to do this thing, come up with these I guess you could say political memes, and I used to always put P, 3 P's at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And what it means to me, and I came up with this, I ain't seen anybody else. Persuasion, perception, and power.
Yeah.
That's really deep if you really think about it. A lot of things that happens revolve around those 3 things, and the first 2 leads to the last one.
Yeah, I like
We
that.
have to make sure of what we're putting out there and how we're communicating with people, how they perceive it, their perception of it. And if they're persuaded to believe in us and we follow through on what we do, then we all can have that power together, not just for one person or a select few. I mean, there is power in numbers. When we look at it, we're going to need more than just us. We're going to need more than just us at this point, at this juncture and where we are. I mean, that's why I said it. Conditions change. You have to change with the conditions.
Yeah,
and I think they've done that. I mean, you can.
Yeah, go ahead and finish. I didn't cut you off.
I'm a '80s baby. Pretty sure probably got a couple more on here, right? I'm an '80s baby. So if we would have had our reparations, you think about, okay, we go back to the '70s. There was issues then. Back to the '60s, to the '50s, to the '40s. We should have had this resolved in the '90s.
Yeah.
But there was still always something that was done that tried to keep people from being empowered.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a systematic thing. So when you look at the system and you see the system's broken, then you need a new system. It's not about a black or white thing. It's like, hey, we need to really come together and look at this system and see what it truly does. and we need another system. And we need to get some of these people that even look like us. There's quite a few of them out there like to get paid and walk away from the communities that they supposed to represent. They get paid. Hey, you'll see me election time. Hey, I count on your vote, right? Yeah, you got your vote for what? You just sold out the next generation with a vote on somebody that's not gonna do anything for you. They might look like you, but they're not for you. They're for that dollar. And me personally. We have churches on damn near every street corner, 3 or 4 of them. But you know what? It's in the most impoverished communities and conditions around. So if those leaders aren't bringing those people up around it, what's really going on? Man, this is Chronicles of Riddick around there, man. They just zapping the resources. That's what they're doing. Taking the resources and moving them out. That's what they're doing. I don't think if those leaders, so-called leaders, are these spiritual places and political leaders are out there actually growing their community and making something happen for these people and changing the conditions in those communities. That's another one of our issues right there, and we got to even get rid of those people, because you know what, if you're not seeing changes, if you're not seeing the grass is getting greener and the lawns are staying cut and the trash is getting picked up, then you got some people that are either too damn scared to get their ass out there and say, hey, we got to do better. I'm not afraid to put myself in this fire for this community and for my people, regardless of who they are, because I want to see you do better. Right. That's when you earn that. You can't just go and say, hey, can I have your vote? Yeah. But that's done a lot, and a lot of people fall for the same thing because it's a situation of familiarity. They're familiar with comfort. That, yeah, and it's comfort. They don't want to get out of that comfort zone. And it's like, okay, I feel comfortable here. I'll stick with it.
And that is a dangerous place to be.
Better.
That's a dangerous place to be, because once you're in that comfort zone, you do not want to get out of it. Trust and believe. I've been there on plenty of occasions, and is once you're trying to get out of it, you're just like, nah. Like, all right, perfect example. Like, if you're going to the gym, you in the gym, you know what I'm saying? You've been in there for a smooth 2-3 months. Once you have one of those down days, you're like, all right, that day was cool, you know what I'm saying? I don't need to go back. I don't need to go back till the next day. Then the next day comes. Yeah, do I really want to get out back? You know what I'm saying? Do I really want to get back in the gym?
Yeah.
Nah. I can hold off for one more day. You know what I'm saying? That smooth month, that smooth couple months was good for me. And then you find yourself a month in advance, and you're like, oh, well, that was for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's a perfect analogy for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All good, man. Before we wrap it up, man. Anybody got anything else to say? I do want to say, what were those 3 P's again?
Persuasion, perception, and power.
Persuasion, perception, and power. Listen to that. And that's those business. We talking about trying to make something happen. Think of those first 2, persuasion, perception. But a lot of because of the media and because of what's been put on our hearts, what's been fed to us and how we come up and how we treat each other, a lot of us got this I don't give a fuck type of attitude. Mm-hmm. So I don't care what nobody thinks. And that's one of the main things that's keeping. It's not, a person hates you because you're black. I see that narrative a lot. You know what I'm saying? There may be. And if they have the right to feel, anybody has the right to feel any type of way. They have the right to run their business any type of way. If they say they don't like midgets, if they don't say they don't like people because black or whatnot, they have that right. That means get your own. That means get your own. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But we want to try to impose our will and this, and then we just, we bottom out and we just say fuck it, and we get into this mode. I don't give a damn. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? And blah, blah, blah. And I can act any type of way. I can have any type of attitude. We talking about dealing with black folks. What we know as black folks. You know what I'm saying? And we know plenty of people like this, and that affects how the people, your opportunity, and the people who are willing to do business with you. That is one of the main things, because there's plenty of people outside of the race, whatnot, but they notice this shit. So they like, no, we don't want nothing to do with that. And that messes it up for the others who are trying to do business also, because they just looking at them and they're like, nah, I don't even want to take a chance. I mean, it's so keep
It's the
in mind,
perception.
because perception. Perception it isn't everything, but it's something. But y'all got anything else, man? It's plenty of information, man. Great show, man. Y'all got anything else, man?
Yeah, I just want to go ahead. I want to go ahead and
Sean Corey's
Yeah.
over 6 feet, man. Don't let him be disrespectful about short people, man.
I'm like 5'7", so it's all good. 5'8" at least.
All right. Before we bounce out of here, man, I want to give a couple shout outs, man. Shout out to Jordan Ortiz. Shout out to Sherelle Ritchie. Shout out to Kelvin for liking and sharing the post last week, or the other day, yesterday I should say. Shout out to Ashley. Shout out to Kevin. Shout out to Brooke. Shout out to Van. So yeah, shout out to those people that was rocked with us yesterday and it's rocking with us today, man. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
All right, with all that being said,
push it out, man. Help us push this out, because with shows like this, man. With shows like this is tougher. I've been told multiple times, like, hey, man, why don't you talk about what everybody wants to hear. They want to hear more about relation. We talk about that stuff too. We have those episodes, but they want it to be more about that angst between man and woman, and should there be two babies, stuff like that, stuff that the
there's money there,
shit that everybody's talking about. And it's like, man, we trying to
talk programming.
We trying to get stuff going, man. We trying to enlighten the minds here. So we're gonna have, it's gonna be more of a push and more of a struggle to get that type of, to get our message abroad, man. So we appreciate everybody that's been supporting, and man, spread it around, man. Keep help us, man. Help us, you help us, man. It helps everyone, you know what I mean? And we do the same thing back. But man, other than that, man, it's been real. And appreciate you, Sean, man, for coming on, man.
Hey, thank you guys for offering.
Man, very enlightening, man. And it's another episode of Word on the Air, man. We'll holler at y'all later, man.
Yeah, make sure you guys like, subscribe, tell a friend on Facebook, hit the follow, notification buttons, and all the other jazz, man. We out.